What's up, Impaled? Brad the Impaler. So, if you haven't noticed, I have not been here this weekend. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know what I've been up to. If you haven't, then you don't. So, let me go ahead and fill you in. So, in case you've been living under a rock, our new president, Donald John Trump, was sworn in on Friday. With his swear-in came civil unrest, the likes of which I've never seen. So, my guess would be that he must have said some really divisive shit during his swear-in.
When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. It's time to remember that old wisdom our soldiers will never forget. That whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots.
Instead of listening to the speech that our new president was giving, instead of attempting to hear what he has to say, they're out there rioting, too wrapped up in their mental horror movie to actually join us here in reality. I think they should have been listening to the president's speech, but even if they had, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Rachel, I heard a Trump surrogate on cable earlier this week say, quote, I think there's a lot of America that is done with the soaring rhetoric that we've had over the last 8 years. Your assessment of what we just heard from the new president?
You know, it's interesting. I have heard that same sentiment that you just described from the very top reaches of the outgoing administration, that oratory is powerful and can be a form of leadership, but it's not the work of governing, and that counting on inspiration doesn't get you where you need to be.
Rachel is a known regressive liberal, and if you don't know who she is, then feel free to enter her name in the search bar of YouTube. You're welcome. I just gave you laughs for days. Here's the disclaimer though. I'm not responsible when your sides go into orbit.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space.
You've been warned. Anyway, Matt, was saying here that an inspirational speech is just not enough. The man has literally, just minutes before, taken the oath of office. He is exiting the stage, and she is saying that his inspirational speech is not enough. The Trump surrogate in question was obviously saying that about a president who has been in office for 8 years and has done virtually nothing of worth for the country. 8 minutes versus 8 years we're talking here. There's a big difference.
This was a workmanlike speech. It was short and he went through it quickly, and it was militant and it was dark. The crime, the gangs, the drugs, this American carnage, disrepair, decay. You can't imagine the outgoing president giving a speech like that.
Yeah, neither can I, and that's a problem. For 8 years, we've had a president that publicly blamed racism for the failings of the inner cities. He would talk about the destruction, but he did so in a way that was beating around the bush. All politicians do that as of late, and that's a problem. To see an incoming president being real with the American people is refreshing. It's not a bad thing. Anyway, I'm going to do another video in the near future about the horrible way the media has handled this transition of power. I just wanted to make my point that even if they were listening to the president's words, they would find some way to muck them up. Now, in the same vein, I told you I was going to fill you in on what I've been up to this weekend. In my city, there were some protests going on. We had a protest the night of the inauguration, and the next day we had the Women's March, where over 50,000 people were estimated to have attended. Unfortunately, I made it to both events late, but I was able to capture some footage from both events.
LGBTQIA.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, big rally.
Okay, and what does Trump's presidency threaten that with?
Well, it's not his entire cabinet. Mm-hmm. It's all the things that he said during his campaign.
Except for the fact that he held up the rainbow flag and said that he supports gay rights?
Well,
I mean, as a bisexual, I'm a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what to expect from that fellow.
Yeah.
But I do expect the worst.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
I think he is probably speaking out of two sides of his mouth.
Okay.
And if he can get around his cabinet and those Republicans in Congress who have the majority,
right,
good for him.
Yeah.
If he has good things in mind, I would be most happy.
Okay, cool.
But except for maybe 2 speeches that he gave
Yeah.
today, and another one where
You find him to be kind of divisive.
he sounded inclusive.
Okay.
He sounded like he was speaking for unity.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry,
Yeah.
from his behavior during his campaign and all the things he said and all the kinds of people that rallied around him because of the horrible, ugly things he said, I'm just very skeptical.
I understand.
I'm waiting to see.
Yeah. So, I guess, are you in the camp of give him a chance, or do you want him out?
Well, I think I can give him a chance, and
Okay.
I don't see how we can get him out unless his past crimes catch up with him.
Yeah.
And his conflicts of interest. You know, we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give him a chance.
Okay.
And if he stands up for what he was saying in his speech today, and another one that I heard when he was,
We all bleed red.
great.
We're all
And
patriots, yeah.
I hope that I don't just keep a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
But like I say, I'm very skeptical.
And it's perfectly fine to be skeptical. I give props to this old hippie. He really just seems to want to be there to remind Trump that he can't dissolve gay rights. And I support that. We really need more people like this. But then there's...
Probably. Hi.
What's up?
I'm just taking a look at your signs, like smash the system and resist Trump. So what are we out here for?
Well, it was a gay rights rally.
Okay. And so it was on Inauguration Day because you fear that Trump is going to stand in the way of gay rights?
Well, yeah. No, they are. They are.
Really?
The Texas legislature is already putting through bills right now to take away existing rights. Any state right that or city protection for LGBTQ people. They're putting through a bill to get rid of all those to make it illegal to give LGBTQ people any protections in Texas.
Okay, now what I heard was there was something about bathrooms.
Senate Bill 6.
Uh-huh.
So Dan Patrick put through a bill that would require everyone to use the bathroom that assigns to their birth sex on the birth certificate.
Right, your biological gender.
Yeah, so any trans person would not be able to use the bathroom that assigned that.
Right, but they did leave room for the businesses to go ahead and make
it's
those.
just federal, yeah.
So why don't you just not support the businesses that don't support your rights?
Support equality. Yeah. And it's public buildings too. Yeah. Federal buildings, federal employees, state employees, teachers, we're gonna stop supporting public systems completely.
Okay.
When none of us are equal, if one of us is not equal, none of us are equal. What is this for, by the way?
I have a YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're rolling out for the night.
Okay.
We've been here all day.
Well, thank you for talking with me.
Have a nice night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, guys.
These people are complaining about a bill recently put forth in Texas that would require people to use the bathroom that coincides with their biological sex. Senate Bill 6, while limiting the bathroom choices of transgender folks, provides protections to the other 99% of the population from having to share a bathroom with someone of the opposite biological sex. When I think of this bill, I think of the children, especially young girls who might be exposed to something that could traumatize them for life. The bill is also fairly lenient, allowing businesses to choose whether or not they want to adhere to the provisions of the bill. Now, like I said, I was late to both protests, and by the time I got there, most of the crowd had filed out and gone home. I made a comment to my friend who was with me that the protesters were lazy. My guess is that they had to leave before Starbucks closed. Gotta get that venti mocha latte. Anyway, as I mentioned before, the other protest I was late for was the Women's March. There are estimates that around 50,000 people attended that march, but by the time I got there, the crowd was sparse and the organizers were cleaning up. I was able to get an interview with one of the quote-unquote ambassadors of the march, though. Take a look.
So what were we here for today?
Well, to march for women and march for rights across the board for everyone. Equal rights, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, immigrants, everybody.
Okay, so what did that have to do with the Trump presidency?
I mean, this really wasn't about, was not an anti-Trump rally.
Okay.
It just conveniently was after the inauguration.
So this would have been held, say, Hillary had won?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would have been because
Okay.
I think what incited it was definitely the fact that comments and appointments have been made to put us in a situation that is not really conducive for bettering our future.
Okay. Like what?
Well, I mean, let's see.
I'm sorry, I'm a Trump
Sessions.
supporter, so I don't know.
Okay, all right. Betsy DeVos, education. What's it called? Who else we got over there? Sorry, I've been up
It's
for a long
okay.
time. Rick Perry.
You've been working hard. I see.
Yeah.
I see. You cleaned up after yourselves. You know,
Yes.
you're doing the right thing. So.
Yeah. No, this is not an anti-Trump rally. That was yesterday, and I
Okay.
wasn't a part of it.
Okay.
I didn't vote for either of them. It doesn't matter.
Right.
This is about all of us coming together and all of us working to better female rights and rights across the board for everybody, because there's a female in every single one of these, even more marginalized groups like minority groups and stuff like
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ, and that's what this is about, and that's why there was over 50,000 people that came out today.
Right.
Because this is affecting more than just it's one small group. It's
Right.
every half of a human being on
Right.
this earth. So
Yeah.
so that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I love how casually she talks about women being marginalized, especially while there's no evidence of that happening in the Western world, but that's a topic for another day. Like I said in the interview, I gave them props for cleaning up after themselves, and I'm glad she let me interview her, but she's wrong. Whether she intended it to be or not, this was an anti-Trump protest. You can just look at the many signs these women held up and the conversations they were having about the protest. On my way home from the Women's March, I took public transportation and was sitting across from a couple of marchers. I didn't want to record them, but they were going on and on about how Trump is a racist and they couldn't understand how anyone ever voted for him. The main contributor to this conversation is or was a Texas prosecutor. I know this because she said so multiple times. I wish I were recording it, because it's a sad day when a prosecutor believes the lies of the media. A woman that is charged with making sure proper justice is delivered is being fed lines that she believes so hardcore that she marched on Austin, even believing that Trump is a rapist. There weren't many people left to ask questions of, so I started to leave the Capitol. On my way out, I encountered this fellow.
Do Republicans cause cancer?
Because they're dicks.
That's a great argument. How about a real argument?
I don't know, you tell me.
I'm not the one holding a sign saying Republicans cause cancer.
Are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Ah,
You're in public place.
okay.
So, why do Republicans cause cancer? Give me one argument that actually, backs that up.
Because it's less expensive than not causing cancer,
What?
right?
Wow, there's all types out here today, aren't there?
I guess so.
What's the other side of the sign say? I saw it when I came in here.
Yeah.
And how does Greg Abbott cause cancer?
By cutting cancer screenings.
Okay. All right. Thank you. See, that's an intelligent argument. That's what I was looking for. Now, how do Republicans cause cancer?
I'm pretty sure I'm done talking to you at this point.
Oh, really? I love your snark.
This man is holding a sign that says Republicans cause cancer. It seems to me that if you're going to make a statement like that, you should know how or why. He doesn't seem to. It may have been that he didn't want to talk to someone like me, but if you're protesting, you should be ready to deliver your beliefs when asked, especially to the opposition. Anyway, I had a great time this weekend. While I'm deeply saddened at the state of divide our country is in, I couldn't have had a better time triggering SJWs and capturing footage to bring to y'all. In upcoming videos, I will be covering this weekend in more depth. I want to talk about the way the media handled the transfer of power and many other things. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button if you enjoyed this, and get the fuck out of here.
Put your fucking hands up!